Okay, we can call the meeting to order.
All right.
And first item up is there anything to add to the agenda? Janet?
I'd like to delete something.
Oh, boy. Well, that might be debated, but okay.
Can I?
Can I?
Can I?
Bye. Oh,
It's way on enclosed, so.
yeah. Well, that'll make close a little harder.
Is my, it's on there? Okay, that's the development matter.
Wow.
Would you like more clues? Just a minute, let me get my pointy-headed sharpener. Okay. You happy now?
Happier.
Okay, is that the only deletion? Would somebody like to move as amended? James? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. And moving on to accounts payable.
It's got an echo.
Doing? Just turn that down. That's the live stream. Yeah. So she can bleep us if really bad things.
I have like the 10-second media just.
That's exactly what was playing. Did somebody move accounts payable for information? Larry, thank you. Any questions or concerns? Okay, James?
Complaints only ask questions, and complaints only don't. Check number 86424, is that for that new pump that we purchased, the water treatment plant? Removing installation of motor pump water treatment plant, LMT crane.
That's what I said.
Yes.
So that's all installed and running.
Yep, it's running.
Most of the crane is for too.
Well.
Oh, okay.
Right down with the web ones.
Okay, is that the only question? Anybody else have any questions? Okay, all in favor of receiving for information? Thanks, Sean.
Pretty sure I have another. That's not good.
Okay, so item number 2 is delegations, and we have Staff Sergeant Courty here to present the final quarter of CMP. That was you?
That's chamber last quarter.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago that I was here presenting the third quarter.
Yes. We didn't bring that up.
So yes, this letter this time, it was mostly to introduce our new commanding officer, Deputy Commissioner Rob Hill. So it kind of gives a background on where he's been, and he's been in place now. We met him at our detachment commanders meeting recently, and yeah.
You wrote it. I thought he would have been here.
No.
I was looking for a photo. Oh, just you. But that's okay. It didn't. Running.
With regards to community consultations, we did meet and we came up with some objectives that were identified last meeting. So those priorities are still in progress and putting in place. I'm still waiting on Cypress County's priorities as well, so that if we duplicate them, we can have kind of the same plans going forward, and that should be shortly. Some of the things that we've already moved ahead with regards to education information, I know we're going to get some information going out on the Redcliff events guide that's coming up, and that is involving lock it or lose it kind of thing, because one of the biggest things that we see in town here are theft from motor vehicles, and we get a lot of complaints about that. But usually there's maybe, I don't know, a dozen vehicles that are entered, we might get one call from the public. So we're kind of asking the public to obviously try to prevent these crimes from happening by keeping the doors locked. Don't keep the keys in your vehicle, and other tips. And then also if that does happen, then report it, so we kind of know if there's a problem going on. So with regards to schools, we are trying to do some more things in schools in town. One of the priorities from our commanding officers to ensure that we have a member allocated and kind of identified for each school in our whole detachment area. So that's ongoing as well right now. And next week we have 2 days that we're going to be at IF Cox and Margaret Wooding doing safety days, and they have asked us to talk about bicycle safety and the scooter safety in town too. So we're going to be doing that. More traffic initiatives are being planned. We have National Impaired Driving Day coming up, or Enforcement Day coming up on May 18th. And we also
Go do it.
yeah, we also have, we're going to have one member that's going to be assigned as a liaison for the youth center in town as well. So that way they have a point of contact. Some of the training that we're getting, I know we've talked about it numerous times over many years, but the Taser 7s, we have them all in our detachment. The biggest thing now we're waiting on our holsters. Apparently the holsters are back ordered, so I can't get the members out on the road with the new tasers without the holsters. So we do have 6 members at detachment that are currently trained in the use of the new tasers. And the rest need new user training because they haven't had them before. So now we have to get, we're going to try to get somebody down here to train the members so they don't have to travel and take more days out of their schedule to do that. We also have one member that I identified, and we sent in an application. I'm not sure if it's going to be approved yet, but for another member for bicycle training. So that way there we'll have 2 members and we can start getting our bicycles out in town and do some bicycle training patrols. And for the last several years, we haven't had any boat operators at the detachment that could operate the jet boat. So there's 2 members going this, I guess, at the end of the month. And that's a 2-week course, and then have to go back at the end of the summer to do the jet boat course because that's what we have here for the river. So I think that's all I have for that on that topic right now. With regards to the fourth quarter, there were similar decreases this time for, I guess, rural crime prevention enforcement education. Redcliff Detachment continues to monitor those that are bound by curfews and conditions to ensure compliance. We don't have a lot of people right now that are out into the community that are bound by certain conditions, but those that are, we are doing door knocks and making sure that they're abiding by those conditions. And we have arrested a few that were not abiding by them, and they're back in jail now. So right now, a lot of our prolific offenders are behind bars. So we'll see how that goes for the summer. Redcliff continues to liaise with our SAD crime reduction unit and their analysts, as well as Medicine Hat Police criminal analysts as well, because they obviously the criminals, they share areas and travel around. So we share the information in order to keep on top of things. With regards to traffic enforcement, we saw some slight increases in manpower at our detachment. However, with the increase in training, annual leave, and our I guess off-duty sick patterns, the proactive area of traffic is still not as high as we would like to see it. And also our local provincial traffic unit, out of the 7 members that they're assigned, they only have 2 that are operational and working right now. So that takes a chunk out of that as well. But over this quarter, Redcliff RCMP issued 54 violation tickets, including 32 speeding, 3 distracted driving, 5 intersection related, and 14 other moving equipment violations. They also issued 9 warnings for various offenses. And traffic, the Redcliff traffic, provincial traffic unit issued 68 violation tickets, including 49 speeding, 1 distracted driving, 2 occupant restraint tickets, 15 other moving or equipment violations. I tried to look in to see like how many were highway, county, Redcliff, but that would require me to go into every single ticket to see where the offense address took place rather than just the detachment. So I didn't delve into it that deeply. With regards to the priority 3 from last year, presence in rural communities or in town. So Redcliff have participated in a number of meetings, including those in Rural Crime Watch, Citizens on Patrol, Crown Council, and other community groups. They've increased the presence within the rural schools, including presentations on road safety, cyberbullying, and recruitment at Eagle Butte High School. And I did just come into possession of some other presentations that we do in the lower grades. We just still don't have any identified program like the old AIR program, but at least these other programs are geared towards the elementary school grade. So that's what my plan is to start kind of getting into the schools and having officers present those. And same thing, like I said earlier, with the local youth center, I'm going to try to have a member that's assigned as a liaison to them so that we can start doing some activities there as well. And also with the Redcliff Library, just other presentations that we might be able to put on for like adults rather than the youth and stuff like that. With regards to statistics, overall in the fourth quarter for this past year, we saw a slight increase in property crimes. And like I said, when I looked into those a little bit, a lot of them were theft from motor vehicles rather than break and enters or other properties. So some of them were also mischief to property, damage to property. But overall, all the other offenses saw a general decrease in criminal activity. One of the highlights on here would be the persons crimes, where and I checked in the other stats, 108 for 2023. 2024, those were mostly assault charges. And when there's another statistics on the other one where a correlation with domestic violence was up as well. So that's kind of where those are coming from. With regards to our manpower on the municipal side, we do have still one member that's off duty sick and another member that will be transferring at the end of June. And I've been working with our staffing to ensure that when members transfer out, that there is a replacement for them. The one that is transferring out at the end of June, there is a member that's identified, but they're not sure if they're going to make it here before the end of the summer. So we're kind of hoping that they will, but we'll have to wait on that. Overall, our resources through the whole detachment, we already have one that has transferred from a promotion to Bow Island detachment. We have two that have transfers and are in the process of selling a house and moving. So that's will be shortly as well. And we have one other member who has a transfer notice, but they haven't cut their transfer papers yet because I told them to stop taking all the members away before they identify resources to replace them. So we're on kind of on a holding pattern for that. And we do have possibly other members who have applied for specialty units, and there's at least one member that's pretty close to being successful in that. So we're kind of worried that all these transfers and stuff are to come in all at once. So we're keeping an eye on that. Yeah, I broke it down on most of the transfers and people transferring out are on the provincial side. However, the overall detachment, it kind of affects no matter if they're municipal allocated or provincially. With regards to the budget, for the 2023-2024 financial plan, the revised Q4 was lower than what they had revised it to back in the previous quarters. And one of the reasons for that was our members actually coming back to work and having an increase in membership. So the use of overtime and all things like that were lower in this last quarter. So we were able to fill all of our shifts and have extra members working and not have to work with any overtime usage. And just with the statistics, that's where I had highlighted a few for the January to March for that quarter. But for that, that's where we had saw a 43% increase year over year with regards to theft under 5,000. And that, like I said, most of those were relation to theft from motor vehicles. And mischief to property was up by 75% year over year. But everything else mostly were down. One of the other things that I had highlighted on the next form, that was the January to December. And that's where we saw that assaults were up by 100%. And then on the second page, when we look at it, that's where spousal abuse, that's one of the codes we put in there, that was up by 69%. So it kind of brings it up to where, and that's the kind of reasoning why the assaults were up. Other things that are up, and it's an anomaly, I'm not sure if it's just that we're capturing them statistically better than we were before, but criminal harassment is up. And that could be whether it's perceived or whether it's valid or not, and we determine maybe it's unfounded, but that's how they're being investigated. So that's up by 131%. Says break and enters are up by 24%, and that's mostly commercial properties. And same thing, mischief to property was up by 132% year over year, but down 88% from previous years. The previous year. Other than that, most of the statistics show that the crime over that quarter was down, and except for those few little highlights that I had. And that's consistent. If I look at the year over year, we're almost back at the 2019 levels that we were back then. And obviously we're starting to see more of a normalization from pre-COVID to now. So any questions on any of that? Or any other questions? Yes.
When you guys do scooter and bike training, does that include e-scooters and e-bikes as well? Certainly it's something we see more and more of on the streets these days, and not so sure they're very safe.
I mean, when the e-scooters and e-bikes, if they can go under 32 kilometers an hour, then that's where they're still considered a non-motorized vehicle. We're still training or educating that if you're on those, you need to wear a helmet, needs to all this stuff. I know there is certain municipalities that are starting to ban them on certain trails because they do travel faster than the normal bicycles or things like that. But right now it's kind of a gray area, so we're kind of treating it mostly as a bicycle. If you're on an e-scooter, then it's kind of the same rules as a scooter because that's kind of what it falls under.
As long as it goes below 32.
Yes.
But how do you guys really know? Is there?
They're governed at that. But if you, I mean, there's some modifications that I know I've seen some of them out there that can go a lot faster.
Yeah.
But somebody's probably done something to them to make it go that fast.
It's an easily done mod, obviously.
No idea.
Yeah.
But I've seen them obviously go faster than what they're made to go faster. That's
Certainly, yeah.
Any other questions? Seeing none, would somebody like to move for information? That. All in favor of receiving information? Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You okay with that, Chip?
Pardon?
You okay over there?
Yeah, I just got a little dizzy for a little while.
Okay, so now we'll move on to Redcliff Town Council minutes. April 22nd.
Although we received
James,
our documents.
any errors, omissions, things to note? There. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then the Redcliff Cypress Regional Waste Management Authority meetings for information. Jim? Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Those carried. And then the Redcliff Cypress Regional Waste Management Authority meeting of May 1st. Chris? Look much shorter. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And then the Town of Redcliff Library Board of March 19th for information. Jim? Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. The page. Work. Okay. Moving on to bylaws. Bylaw number 1972, 2024 being the tax rate bylaw.
That we give it first reading.
James? Any questions or concerns? Seeing, go ahead, Matt.
School requisitions, like they're the 7.02 increase, that's a provincial thing, right? Like just
It's a very interesting provincial thing because the government sold it as no change in mill rate. So because our assessment went up and their mill rate stayed exactly the same, in essence, they charged us more. And so that's what it shows there is a 7% increase in school requisition from the province. So it just depends what numbers you want to use. Mill rates, our mill rate went down. Yeah, but because assessment went up, taxes still went up. It's a beautiful one.
We'll have more.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor, first reading? Opposed, that's carried. Somebody like to move it for second?
A second.
Chris? Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Would somebody like to present for third?
Present.
Prevent third, Kathy? It must be unanimous to move on. So all in favor? Opposed? That's carried unanimously. And would somebody like to move third? Jim? Questions or concerns? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Right. Moving on to B. Bylaw number 1973, 2024 being the residential tax incentive bylaw. And I think this is where you wanted the statutory, it's mentioned in here, but it's not in the motion that we have a statutory, non-statutory public hearing.
That's
Different
correct.
thing? Not statutory means we have to, non-statutory means we don't have to, but admin would like one anyway.
Okay.
Suggesting it, so we could do it a couple different ways. So we have the residential tax incentive bylaw as well as the cash incentive
Somebody has to make the motion first.
as well.
Okay, well, I will move.
I don't know if you got the rules, Sean.
That's bylaw number 1973/2024, residential incentive bylaw be given first reading. Furthermore, that administration holds a non-statutory public hearing on Monday, June 10th. That's the motion.
James. Go ahead, Shannon.
This pick was just going to suggest an alternative.
An alternative date?
Because we had suggested under the cash incentive policy as well, that we could do the motion there and we would have a non-statutory public hearing for both matters. We can do it both ways.
We can make that motion down there too.
We can.
So does anybody have any questions or concerns?
Was this not the one that we had the cash cap one?
No, there's no mention of cash cap.
No.
I know.
Cash, either one, but this one doesn't involve cash. This is just tax.
Oh, that's tax rate.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
next one that's more important to ask that question.
Okay, I'll rescind that question for now.
Sorry, I did this all on my computer, so I couldn't highlight, but there was something I read in here about how administration reserves the right to change the term. And maybe I'm just dumb the way that I read it, which is highly possible, but it seemed like it kind of contradicted that there was 5 years, but then the way that was written is it could be more than 5 years, or is that it could be less than 5 years?
The intent is that it will be 5 years. However, if they lose eligibility, then we could reduce it.
So it could be reduced at any time?
If they no longer meet the eligibility
If
requirements.
they become ineligible the
Okay, yeah,
incentive ceases.
yeah, that's written in there a couple times. Okay. It just, well, never mind.
No, well, it's good to ask the questions now because
Well, it just seems
just to
like,
be clear.
yeah, it seemed like the wording could leave interpretation for, because it doesn't say it can be, the term can be changed any time. It just says that, sorry, I'm trying to find it here.
Are you talking about number 7?
Number 7, tax and mortality.
But in
That's where it says.
the
maximum
program and
5
in,
years.
in eligibility, it also, it says how you could be canceled.
It's not it either. It was worded something along administration can change the terms for the length. 21. Yes. At their sole discretion, may limit the number of years the town of Redcliff will cancel the municipal portion of the residential taxes.
Correct. So the intent there was if they become ineligible, then we would cancel it.
And the CAO could do it, it wouldn't have to come to council for a motion.
Maybe that's just a thought, and I don't know how everyone else feels about this, but maybe that should be mentioned in there, because it doesn't say anything about losing eligibility. It just says decision process. The CAO or designate at their sole discretion may grant the tax incentive. The CAO at their sole discretion may limit the number of years. It doesn't mention anything about losing eligibility, so.
But 17 says that, right? Like that's the start of where they screen them and look into them. And 18 says when it's deemed complete, and 19 says, so they all that's the whole process.
Yeah, well, that says it's a complete, but it doesn't mention anything about losing eligibility, is
Well,
what I'm saying.
it will be reviewed to ensure it meets the eligibility criteria. I
Yes,
guess,
so then
I
they're
guess that could be.
they're saying if you go to the next step, you meet the eligibility criteria, right? So I just, for clarity purposes, if we're writing a new bylaw, it might be a good idea just to kind of, and in my opinion anyways, because to me this reads that, well, Shannon doesn't like Barry there, and so one, we gotta cancel this municipal, like, that's, yeah. Looking at Barry's office. That's kind of how it reads to me, right? So if it reads to me like that, it could read to someone else like that. So I just, if the intent is, then people don't know the intent unless they listen to this meeting, right? So.
And we had that discussion internally with that. We had adjusted the wording. It still seems that it's not clear. So on second reading, we can bring back something.
Well, I think 22A and B says a lot of that too, but I don't know. Well, everybody give it a good read and talk about it. Then just get in first reading. Go ahead, Jim.
My comment on this is, I don't like the tax incentive thing at all. I think that there should be a reduction on the price to begin with, instead of having a tax exemption.
So a reduction on the price of the land,
The price of the
what if
land.
it's privately owned land?
Well, if it's privately owned land, why would we give a tax reduction?
For group, for
Spur development.
improvement. Like if somebody owns an empty lot and they finally decide to build on it, why aren't they eligible for incentive? I believe this also says infills too, right?
Yeah.
Not brand new lands.
Yes, it's only for infills, yes.
Yep.
And it's,
Existing lands, yeah.
Yeah,
and only multi-residential, not.
This one, the
Yeah.
cash incentive is the one that talks about residential.
The over 3 units. Over 3 units.
Over to the
Two.
3 and over,
Yes.
reasonable residential.
Yeah, because like 2 dogs.
So one more hand.
We should change that.
No, because then there'll just be 4.
Shannon told me she was working.
Yeah, well, slowly, really slow.
fighting dog.
Okay, did anybody else have any questions or concerns that they would like administration to know of or contemplate before second reading? Seeing none. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And moving on to the Rise Up Hot Air Balloon Festival for consideration.
No, you missed tax recovery district.
No, you're right. Why did I put James on that one? Sorry. I moved, well, no, that doesn't matter. I can cross move. That's my bad. Okay, sorry, tax recovery reserve bid and auction.
Well, just for that, I'm gonna move that we direct administration
All right, good.
to establish the sale date, terms and conditions as presented. These are all the same properties from last year.
Some are new.
Some are new.
So I thought it was a little longer.
Does anybody have any questions or concerns?
Or if they get sold, right?
So far, zero.
Sorry?
We've never sold one.
Yeah.
They usually get refinanced. Okay, no questions, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Now we get to the Rise Up Hot Air Balloon Festival sponsorship.
You know, what Jim thinks.
Make motion number 1 that we authorize a monetary donation up to $200.
Turn off your mic now.
No, I just moved it so I can see my screen. In there, up to the right page. Copy. Okay, any questions or concerns?
Is any of their Rise Up Festival happening in Redcliff?
No,
Like this letter mentioned a lot about
Well,
what's happened on us.
third year and 1 year wasn't kind of windy, right? And I meant nature. Well, I'll say that I don't believe Redcliff is involved and I don't know what benefit they'll get. I guess also I struggle with the core concept of mothering organization too, so.
Say it on camera.
Well, I just did. I personally have feelers about it.
and I agree with you 100%.
There you go. Thank you, Jim. It's good to see you're feeling better.
He's busy.
Oh, I'm just
Okay,
pissed off.
wow. Anyway, any other comments, concerns? All in favor? Opposed? Seated. 2024 event update, Splash Park.
Got option number 1 to extend the hours.
So. Okay, Chris. Any questions or concerns? Matt?
My only question with this is, let's say come July 1st, we are under, let's say, stage 3.
Well, just, it says in there that it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
Administration understands at the time there was a stage 2 of the water shortage, the Redcliff Spray Park will not be in operation.
Shuttered down.
Is there any indication on what the new rain has done for Alberta?
It didn't do a spook. We got up to 88 cubic meters per second during the day of the rain at 11 o'clock that night. And by the next day, it had fallen back down to 60. It barely blipped it. Like the ground was so dry, it took it. Our little bit of storm runoff, well, it never made it. And I don't even know, like by now Calgary should be going through. It takes about 5 days for Calgary to get here, right? I don't see any big increase in flow.
Interesting. The mountains got a big dump of snow in the last month though, so that might help us.
Yeah, that's probably more beneficial for us. Cause I think when we were getting that rain, I think they were getting snow up there.
Canmore got pretty good, I think. That area.
That doesn't tell you snowpack though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I can go right into the mountains and look at my favorite spots, but I'm not gonna. Have you looked lately, Alicia?
I haven't looked up today.
Okay, well then I will. So right now we're flowing at 114 and we've been going up consistently, so I'd say Calgary is getting here now. But 114 is a low river flow. It's not anything.
Our averages for this.
Oh, well, this is good for us this year, like. Yeah, I don't know what the level, oh, we're up at 2.18. That's actually as high as we've been probably all year. We've had some 212s.
And within about 2 or 3 days, it'll start dropping.
Well, let me say, it's been on a constant rise. So I would say Calgary is actually getting here now. Because it does take time.
Not that much matters today. It's more July and August anyway.
Right, well, yeah, that's gonna pass. And we didn't say it unless you grabbed the bucket.
No, I didn't. We're fine.
Okay. Cool. Anything, any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, policies, policy number 46, advertising for consideration. Matt. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And then policy number 155 being the residential cash incentive initiative.
No, I'll move that we approve the cash incentive policy as presented and direct administration to hold a non-statutory public hearing on the same day as the last one.
So we weren't necessarily looking to bring it for approval yet. We were bringing it here for discussion, to get it on the table, and then
That's
if we could,
The wording is exactly the same as the other thing, so I could see where somebody could infer something. I guess because you didn't give us a motion to read.
Well, I made one up on my own.
What a big boy.
I know, you know, I wore my big boy pants.
Okay, so carry on,
so
Sean.
the intent was to bring it here for discussion, to get it out. So we could discuss it, see what your thoughts were, and then to bring it back for discussion. For a non-statutory public hearing, so it would be out there in the public, as well as present it to the development community as well.
Yeah.
So
So I think with the motion here, if discussion ensues and we decide to
Why don't-
table it, he might take that as a friendly enough amendment.
to receive it for information.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Okay,
Why don't I amend the motion to say that we received this policy for information and direct administration to include it in the non-statutory public hearing on June 10th.
okay, it's for information.
Now, Jeff, you could
Yeah,
share your
questions or concerns?
grievances.
So was there no cash limitation?
There's none mentioned.
I know.
There is no set cap in the policy. We would be wanting that as a separate resolution. And then, so that it would be in the books and where the funding is. And then the policy is still standalone, so it could be, if you want, if it was successful, and you wanted to do it in another year, another budget year. Then
We
you
just
could
add funding to it?
Yes,
Okay.
Where's the money coming from?
we haven't decided that yet. Land development reserve potentially.
Different funding.
That's what I was thinking. I'll say levies. How much money do we have in the land development reserve?
There's some, but that's not the extent, but there is.
I can find out, just give me exact here. I'm gonna guess 1,600,000.
About six? I'm gonna argue because of the airlock QB, right?
No, I don't have a clue.
$1,000,004. Jeez. I-
Had interest.
Pretty good interest rate.
It's been there a long time. So, does anybody want to make comments
So,
to help admin?
well, I have a question. I'm gonna make another dumb question tonight. I'm just trying to make Chris feel dumb. See it again. So you said you want that as a separate resolution, so you'll bring that forward after this non-statutory public hearing, whatever, and we'll just pass a different thing that says we're gonna cap this at X dollars per year, or just X dollars total, whatever,
X dollars total to come from here.
wherever we decide to take.
And if that money is then when, or if that money is used up, then we would reevaluate the program and come back here for further discussion.
You see, it says people come and just take money off the shelf. Crazy what it is.
Well,
I mean,
so whatever, I guess, but what that sounds like is whatever we put the cap at, that almost sounds like it could be an annual cap if it gets reviewed every year.
Or we could resign it again within the same fiscal year as well, right?
That was a question that you
well,
asked.
and that's kind of one discussion. If we put $100,000 on this and we say we're willing to commit $100,000 a year, or are we saying we're committing $100,000?
Well, it can be reviewed at the whim of council, right?
Just, I like putting the number on there just because it created a sense for it.
Yes. Supply and demand. Well, $100,000 is 10 houses.
Right.
And units.
Well, that's not exactly true because in the eligibility criteria, it only has to be $200,000 worth of development. So to me, that's not even a whole house. Like, you know, it should be maybe 350 or 400. That would be a whole house. You could build extra living quarters up like this. You could almost build onto your house.
Yeah.
Can we let?
Yeah, Brian, what did you have in mind there? Because I read that a couple of times. I'm going, what does that?
Because just 200K on a chunk of land, that could get you small. But let's see what Brian has to say.
The intent of the policy is that the appraised value will go up by $200,000.
So it could be an addition?
So the idea would be is if someone's ripping down a small older home to build a brand new home. So the assessed value might be on the older home, 100,000 or 150,000, but the new home is 350,000. So then the assessed value has gone up $200,000. Not that the overall project cost is that. It's just the difference from where we started to where we're ending at has gone up by $200,000.
So what about an addition to a home?
We haven't created any new units.
What
Well, that's not.
What if mom is moving into a unit?
But the policy is quite
Clear that it can't be granny suite?
it does not include secondary suites, whether they're internal or external. Unless council would like that. Then
It does say that.
should be different.
Well, that helps me a bit because when I saw that 200,000, I'm going, well, that's not much. Like if you can get 10 grand to build something worth 200,000, that's pretty good.
It's almost 5%.
If council feels more, I mean, we can change it. The idea was is we can still afford to rip down an older home to build a better value.
It has to be a new unit. Yeah.
I don't mind that.
That's gonna be a move-in.
Like an RT, huh?
Yeah.
But you'd still have to put it on a new property.
New foundation.
No, it would be new taxes and I guess,
Yeah.
so then it would just have to be above 200.
The assessed value.
$200,000 more than what was.
Yeah, if it was, I'm saying it was fair land and you moved the house in.
That's easily $200,000 increase.
I do struggle with this one more than the municipal tax question, because this one could cost us money, and I know we've had the discussion, and all the optimism says that if we wouldn't be broke in a week.
But if we put a cap of $100,000 on it, and in the first month, we had 10 people apply for this this permit with eligible applications. Sweet, now we just got 10 more properties with an assessed value of more than $200,000 increase, so.
Or maybe there's some unintended consequence that we're creating a loophole for, and we're capping out the money, so.
517 times 2, you get 1,100 municipal portion of taxes a year.
Per property,
Yeah, at 200,000 times 5.17.
so if you have 10 properties, that's.
Yeah, but each one you'd give 10,000 to, it would take you 8 years to get your money back. At 200, if it was big more than 200, then of course it pays back sooner. If it's a $300,000 home, now you're talking 1,600.
Yeah.
Well, 1,550, but we're not gonna.
But that's more taxes than we were taking before, so
Yeah,
essentially,
but you still want to recoup that money.
yeah, long term, we've increased our taxes.
And that's at exactly 200, and that's assuming no increased value.
Right.
over those.
Whereas the other, the tax,
5 years.
the 5-year municipal
Doesn't cost
portion
us anything up.
doesn't cost us anything, and it's over in 5 years.
I would say more
It
realistically,
would take,
getting your money back is probably more like 5 years on this.
you think?
Because you're not gonna have improvements just exactly at 200,000. I think the average is probably gonna be around 300, 350,000. And then the assessments are gonna go up over that period of time as well.
But even if it's 4, you're only talking
22,000,
2,300, 2,100.
okay, 2,100. So that's less than 5 years if the property doesn't go up in value.
The thing is, you start something like this, where does it stop?
At
We have,
$100,000,
where we
have
say
it
it
now,
does,
yeah.
where we say it does.
or whatever number we put on it, right? Like,
If it's going well,
that's why if we put a cap on it. Then,
fail safe.
yeah, it's a fail safe, it's, like Chris said, I don't think it'll create a supply and demand mentality, but it might. But if it does, then, okay, $100,000, it's done, right? It's just like the city with their Hat Smart, they put a cap on it every year. There's a dollar value, and once that money's gone, or, right? And so,
And that program creates a sense of urgency.
yeah, as a pilot type thing, I have no problems with running this, see what happens. Even
I like
if we had a-
that, thinking outside the box.
Even if we had a $50,000 cap on it to see, do we get 5 applicants in the first week? Like,
But these have to be complete before any money goes.
oh, for sure, yes.
So you could theoretically look at 6 or 7, it's just the first 5 to finish.
Yeah.
Or do you, because it says 2 years to complete. Right?
Correct.
So. Okay.
If you take the
You do like
Come
the
in-
federal
come in
government
and
where
say,
you
yeah,
get
I
all
want it,
more
and then
approved
go.
applications than you have money for, and then it's first come, first serve. Race to the finish line.
The intent would be is once they can make that application as soon as the development permit's approved. And then that money would be set aside for them. When that pool runs out, whether we're at 50 or 100,000 or whatever number, then it's just run out. They can still make their applications, but there's no guarantee after that they will actually get that.
So if Dwight's doing a development, there's only 10 grand left. If Dwight's doing one and I'm doing one, it's not a race to who gets done first.
No, it's who puts it in after the application.
Okay,
So
so
the development permit,
the full
or correct, is the application.
development criteria. Should there be something under this, members of council cannot take advantage of this program?
That who should?
Members of council cannot take advantage of this program.
So. I'm not creating new doors, by the way. Well, so I guess I am.
You cut bars, but it says you can't do retroactive development,
I already got my permit.
and you can't cancel your permit, reapply, it says that too.
Never thought about myself. Like the way I think.
Well,
Just.
Okay, so does anybody have any concerns? Any suggestions? Because this is here for,
I know business who would apply it. Would mine apply for this?
No, this is for 2 or less.
Oh, well,
but for the
the other one.
the other tax one. No, permit's already there.
Yeah, but would it apply? Because that's a business. That's not really
No,
residential.
that's-
Yeah,
Okay,
I would just ask if council would like that assessment value to be higher than 200,000.
I'm
Fine.
higher, but sorry.
We can always raise it.
Well,
It's hard
I
to
think
lower.
once you start, it's harder to start flipping numbers around.
Yeah, but it's harder to lower it than to raise it.
What would your number be?
Well, I would think 3, but because truly you can't build a new house for that. And like Brian,
300 an increase.
he's correct, but if you're tearing down 150,000, I don't think you're putting up a 300,000. Because why would you? Right?
It's true. That's the other really great lot.
Well, you would have to have an amazing lot to spend that kind of money. Right? If something's worth 150, sell it for 150 and go buy a clean lot. So you must really love the lot. Yeah, but I just thought that was low if somebody found a way to actually get down to that. So with a mini home or a mobile home or I don't know what.
Well, even if you brought in an RTM, like, you're still increasing the value of the property by 200,000, right?
Could be argued by neighbors.
Well,
Especially if we get 150. Where are you thinking?
those RTMs are nice places.
Okay,
I'm thinking trailer park.
so we're really not, we haven't changed anything. So the only thing that's gonna be up for discussion at some future point is the cap.
Yes, but this will be at a non-statutory public hearing, so there's opportunity to have further discussion there.
Okay.
And then,
and also whatever input we get from the community.
and then we would,
Oh, like the wise ones?
Yep.
Oh, well, they were already out.
We heard that opinion.
this will come back for approval at a later date.
Oh, yes. Yes, they were already commenting over the weekend, I guess.
Oh,
Yes, we're very busy. What the
How
hell?
dare you? No. Yes. The wise ones and the ones,
I love that street. Yes.
I hope they're listening, the wise ones. Okay,
Okay, we did hear. Thank you, Brian.
thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brad. It's a shirt, works every time.
So James made a motion, receive for information and send to statutory, non-statutory hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Still carried. It's only 2 down.
Happens.
Okay, correspondence. Glen Motz, read the carbon tax impact.
See, this one says for.
Receive for information.
What does it say? Mine's too blurry. I couldn't read it. Somebody's not in favor of it.
I think those Oakleys just aren't cutting it for you.
It looks.
Mine's not. Can you read it?
I probably can.
Acting up too.
Mine blurry, and I've been switching it back and forth, having a PDF and a MTL. And
HTML.
Are you going off
Do
today?
you want to read mine?
What?
Would you like
no
to
one
read?
read in
mine?
the Civic.
Oh, I tell you, my ears is better.
It was fine when I was home.
We're not.
Okay, Kathy moved for information, all in favor? Opposed, that's carried. And AB Nini's bill 20. I think there's more than one of these, so the May 9th.
I'll move that.
It's just-
Matt, for information. Did anybody attend the actual webinar? All right, any questions or concerns? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
A lot about this online too.
Then move on to other, the municipal manager's report.
Only that we receive for information.
James? Any questions or concerns? Any of the reports?
Question. under the beautiful pie chart here from Brian,
The two colored one?
yeah, it doesn't say how many of each. It just has a Pac-Man face and a piece of pie. So can you enlighten us as to how many have been resolved?
Or have been resolved here.
Unless they're maybe disproportionate color scheme then.
I think in here he's having 5 ongoing and 3 resolved.
Tommy Master.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Shannon.
Okay, we're good. Any other questions? So, how many, good, sorry, carry on.
Finish your thought.
No. No other questions, all in favor of the management report for information, opposed? It's carried. Did anybody go to anything exciting that they would like to talk about?
Golf course got their new golf carts.
Yeah, I saw the questions.
Yeah. Something else about the golf course.
It's like, well,
It's raining, it's green.
Yeah, it was raining. It's green.
did they get their irrigation upgrades?
Yeah, did that in the fall time. So that was gonna save on water because they could water throughout the night instead. And also cause less problems. There's the aging infrastructure in the back nine is really bad. Something else for the golf course besides that. Yeah, not besides that.
Oh.
So, let me think here. Yeah, no, same topic.
Well, there's smoke coming out, really. Stop thinking.
Okay, yep, that's it for that.
Well, thank you, Chris, for that report.
It was very enlightening.
That invigorating.
It was very enlightening.
You're welcome. You guys gotta make it get busy.
Anybody else? If anybody can outdo that.
If anybody knows anybody willing to volunteer, both the youth center and the museum are in dire need to aid board members.
Yep, it's working.
Okay.
Okay.
President of the museum just stepped down.
Yeah, I knew that he told me.
Small.
No. Okay. Yeah. And did you get an email about our past mayor? Passed away a week or so ago. Oh. Hey, Austin?
Oh, did he?
Yep, I just got an email today from his son letting me know that he passed away a week ago. I know, it just, because we have this policy for
Yeah.
prominent members and all that, and yes, so I hadn't seen it anywhere else. Apparently he was just in Medicine Hat. Senior residence.
When was he mayor?
Oh, early 80s maybe.
When Lloyd first got
A
elected.
long time ago, no. Way before me. Do you remember, Larry?
I would say it's in the eighties. But it wasn't much past 85.
No, I don't know. Because there was other greenhouse guys in there, but anyway, just as a note, and I was told that there won't be a funeral either, so it's pretty hard to recognize other than if we just wanted to make a donation somewhere.
What's their majority?
Just what he sent me. I haven't seen it anywhere else. So maybe it's still going, it's still coming. I don't.
We'll look.
It doesn't legally have to be in the newspaper anyways.
No, it does not.
Not anymore. Used to be.
Not
What?
that.
What?
And for any debtors.
Oh, yeah, that's different. That's a lawyers do that kind of
Yeah.
thing. That's a totally different thing than an obituary.
Okay.
Other than that, I haven't received anything, so.
I think I'm a special need for that.
Yeah, it's not.
Probate.
Yeah,
Okay, yes, that's the word, thank you.
yes. So I will forward that to you, Shannon, and the only new stuff I had coming up.
So. Unable to make it to that Cypress County thing here at the end of the month.
That's fine, get off work a bit early.
Right here working that.
When does it start again? 6:30 or?
I think it's 6:30 is last I heard.
Not feeding us.
No, I mean,
Crap for that.
That sounds.
And they-
Right.
No, it's the 30th. Yeah, I sent out an email that it was definitely
Yeah.
on the 30th, and they did pick the place now too.
we didn't send that one.
No, I got that afterwards.
Best Western Premier.
That's, I think where it is, yeah. I thought it was one of the new places.
That's the-
Down here in Cypress County.
Yeah, it's not near Walmart.
That's what the Denny's house, I think.
No, it's one of the newer ones, I think.
Yeah, just where the Denny's is. I think
Yeah.
Jim's are right.
Oh, yeah. The Denny's.
I know our mayor. He will.
Taking the company.
So the Best Western Premier Executive Residency, 35 Paul Stover Drive.
Yeah, that's up. Right by Key.
May 30th from 6:30 to 9 o'clock.
Well, Shannon, are you taking us out for supper at 5?
At Denny's.
That's wrong, Denny's. It's good stuff.
Get breakfast. or
The
something.
Wendy's.
That's weird. The pets are weird.
You guys, your mics are on.
Is there a motion on the council reports?
No, there isn't yet, because there's
I'm
no
over it.
reading. I was hoping that when everybody had done theirs, we'd move them all for information. Is it, so. Everybody done? Okay, Chris is moving them all for information. But I already have it written down. Cool. All in favor? All opposed?
All the information. It's all-
Carried. And then landfill graphs.
For information.
Happy.
Do small, Larry.
Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? And then council important meetings and events. So the May 30th is done. And
You'll remind us on the 27th.
I would encourage everyone to be there.
Is that Matt or Jim?
okay, Jim. Questions or concerns, all in favor? Opposed, that's carried. 5-minute recess. So we'll call the meeting back to order.
I'll move this in post.
8:24.
Do I make an announcement why we do so?
James.
Yeah,
Well,
like-
it'll show that.
Yeah.
It'll show
They're live?
Well, it'll show.
We really need a red light.
James moved us into closed. All in favor?